Hey, it is Friday, TGIF. Let's go, Bucks. Rumor Innuendo. I'm Dominic D'Angelo, ad-free shows, SEScoops.com, and I am here with Robert Karpelis, WWE Creative_ish. Wow, we got quite a weekend to cover, Robert. How are you doing?
Dude, there is so much stuff to talk about. We don't even have time for pleasantries. So, apologize to Antonio Santos. We don't have time to read Happy Friday, gents. Never mind Drew McIntyre. We want groundskeeper Willie. Make way for Willie.
Make way
we
for
also don't
Willie.
have time to read Jim Broderick's Let the Games Begin. Get it going, man. Let's get off to the races. We've got a ton of stuff on this rundown, man.
Yes, let's preview SmackDown. We'll do it chronologically this time around, since considering what we have on tap for the weekend here. We got SmackDown tonight from Scotland, and on tap is several matches. We have Kevin Owens taking on Solo Sikoa, Nia Jax battling Mishin, Naomi taking on Chelsea Green, the Grayson Waller effect with guest
Please don't do that.
DIY, and we also have Cody Rhodes scheduled to appear with AJ Styles. Plus, Mama Rhodes is in attendance too. What do you expect for tonight on this Friday night SmackDown? Is this going to be a mini Clash at the Castle almost?
Yeah, so they're in Scotland, so it's a pre-taped show, which means there's not going to be any daring surprises. You're not going to get a big debut. You're not going to get a newsworthy moment, but you will get compelling storytelling to set up Clash at the Castle tomorrow. The folks that they've flown over there, they need to make it worth their while. So Kevin Owens, Solo Sikoa, Bloodline, not part of Clash at the Castle. Give it to him on SmackDown. I think that's a smart decision. Nia Jax, not part of Clash at the Castle. She's Queen of the Ring, so you're going to give her this match with Mishin. So hopefully Mia, knows to duck, or else that could end very badly, very quickly. Same thing setting up Chelsea Green, Naomi is to further the Bayley Piper Niven match. And then a Cody AJ final confrontation for anybody who's not going to be sold as of yet to tune in. It's sort of a different world that we're in. They don't need to worry about pay-per-view buys. They don't need to worry about getting those last-minute clicks. Most of you have Peacock. You're going to tune in tomorrow during the day, and you're going to enjoy and watch Clash at the Castle. So all SmackDown really has to do tonight is give you 2 hours of compelling TV to make the international audience feel like it was worth them buying the combined ticket. They sell the SmackDown and PLE joint package. So you're going to get to see folks tonight that you won't see tomorrow night, but they made that long trip over there, so we're going to get the most out of them. And it's a chance to get that last minute, like, man, you really got to clear your Saturday schedule on Father's Day weekend and watch this Cody AJ match.
The added value, too, with having this take place in Scotland, SmackDown, is you get that big crowd reaction that we've gotten from when it was the Backlash France, and that different kind of feel. So there's just added incentive to make this tonight feel special, despite it being pre-taped. And on top of it, too, it really gets the fans amped up for Clash at the Castle. And what a great, we're going to preview this in just a second, but what a great way, afternoon on a Saturday, I think is pretty nice just to watch, and then you have your evening planned out. You can do something else, and
it's perfect for me as an old man. Yes. I don't have to stay up super late. I get my, Saturday night's a prime night for going out. It's people have things going on. Stop with the Prime drink. They're not a sponsor. We have nothing to do with them. There's no hidden Prime bottle behind me like I'm in a Trump picture. The fun thing about this is, you get your afternoon show if you choose to tune in live, which I hope you do. I'll be live tweeting it on WWE Creative_ISH. Fun little plug. All the PLEs, I always enjoy watching it. And then you get to go out and have your night. Tomorrow night I'm going to a play, so this will be fun. And Robert, I know you're Clue.
No way. That's awesome.
Apparently that's a thing. It's part of the subscription series down here. So we will be going to see Clue. Big fan of that movie. And based on almost every movie I've seen turned into a play, it's been a huge disaster. So maybe this will kick out a little bit, but I'm still burned from seeing Back to the Future, the musical.
Oh God. Yeah, that does not set it
all-timer in terms of awfulness.
Yikes.
That was bad. SmackDown though won't be bad. The interesting wrinkle, if there is one, is the Grayson Waller effect segment with DIY. Because you look at that and you go on paper, oh, this is going to set up for a tag title match maybe being added to the PLE.
Mm-hmm.
But Hunter, Paul Triple H Levesque, sorry, I apologize. That's the nomenclature for him. He's been very good about keeping these cards small and focused. I
Yes.
feel like there already is a full card in place. So either we get an impromptu tag match added to SmackDown tonight, or they set something up next week. The reason why I wouldn't be totally shocked about them having a match on SmackDown tonight, this afternoon, I think it starts in an hour, is giving the audience a title change.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's a good point. Yeah.
has value to it still in 2024 to say, I saw somebody win gold. I know we're going to talk Clash of the Castle. We're going to preview it. I don't know how many titles they're going to see shift during the show on Saturday. So giving the audience a feel-good moment could be kind of interesting. And it's not like they've done a ton with Waller and Theory since they've won the tag titles. So
Right.
transitioning it over to DIY to set up a rematch for Money in the Bank, you're not really losing any momentum. You're not devaluing these tag titles at all. And I think DIY deserve a little run with it. It could be fun.
I agree. And, I think the personality of Grayson Waller is kind of Teflon at the moment, where it's like he could lose the title and just be fine doing singles stuff or feuding with Austin Theory if that's the route they want to take or
Oh,
whatever.
let's not put that in the ether.
Okay, just
I don't
throw
want
it
to see either.
out.
I don't want to see either of those guys turn babyface. Theory's got that Miz thing of if he tried to be genuine and earnest, you would still want to see him get punched in the face.
Sure, Grayson Waller, yeah, you got to keep him heel, no doubt. I agree, but at the very least, but yeah, I don't think that would be an issue. Before we go on to Clash of the Castle here, what do you think is the value having a Naomi take on Chelsea Green? Is somebody going to benefit in that match specifically by getting a win or a loss, or is this just more so for what you mentioned, Bailey and Piper Niven on
It's
Saturday?
yeah, no, it's furthering Bailey Piper Niven. It's going to give some sort of, there's 2-on-1, and then Bailey comes out for the save to really reinforce that Bailey is a babyface. Because
Yeah,
there's not a lot of meat on the bone for this story going into Saturday. It's just Piper Niven is the challenger. This is her home. It benefits the WWE because she is going to get a hometown reaction at first. But if the actions that she does in the ring are dastardly and awful, that audience is going to boo her. And Naomi is someone who's universally beloved. So it's sort of a smart way to use a character that's going to get a pop because her entrance gets that pop. That they hear the music, they see the black light, and putting wrestling fans under a black light is always a risk.
that's still
But
weird.
they will cheer, they'll be excited, they're going to want to see something positive. And when Piper and Chelsea double team her, they're going to boo and they're going to put that onto Piper, so they're going to remember on Saturday so she doesn't get quite the same hometown pop. I still think she will, but it hopefully won't be as full-throated as it might be.
Yes, I agree. Greg Jacobson adds that maybe that tag match will be a pre-show match. I
Yeah.
kind of hope not. I definitely hope not, actually. I think there would be just more value if it happened on SmackDown if they were to do it, or anything to that effect.
Well, that'll teach you to ask a question there, Greg Jacobson.
No, I like Greg Jacobson.
No,
He's
you buried that
a fellow
poor
Jets
kid.
fan.
Oh, well, even worse. Now I'm going to bury this kid. Jets fans. Can we talk about the fact that Shad Khan paid Trevor Lawrence $1 trillion to be their quarterback? I'm shocked.
Are you shocked?
Not really. That they spend money again on Vice. Who killed WCW? Well worth watching. Tony and Shad when they get to that part about Eric Bischoff just burning through money.
You know what? I'm going to have, if I get on the conference call with Tony Khan again, I might ask him if he's watched it and if he learned anything.
Oh, of course. And I'm sure we know what answer he'll give. It'll be like, of course I watched it. I'm a student of the game. And, we've learned from those mistakes and we're not going to make those going forward. And then they'll cut you off before you can just yell, liar.
No, the thing is, on those conference calls, they let you ask a question and then they turn your thing off, so you have no chance to.
Yeah, I know. That's why I just said that they're not going to let you give a follow up. You're going to get to ask that first question, and Tony's going to give you a softball answer. And but then again, I don't know what Tony does with his time, because there was a fascinating Tony Khan quote that came out the other day where he was talking about how much he loves the Big Bang Theory.
I saw that.
Oh, I sent it to the group. That's how you saw that,
Oh,
Dom.
okay.
So Tony said that this is the lead in to Dynamite, that he's been watching Big Bang Theory and that he never saw the show before. I don't know how that's possible. Like,
You
it
know,
was a number one show on television for about a decade.
I'm not gonna lie, I never really watched it though either.
Never really watched, but to not have seen an episode of this show, and it's a little strange.
Yeah,
Given
I'd
him
have
that in his pop culture savvy, there's a comment here from Stuart Green. Still a lot of tickets available for Clash at the Castle. I'm quite surprised it's not a sellout. Those are standard tickets as well, not reseller tickets. It has been surprising that they've been promoting tickets still being on sale. Everywhere they've gone of late has sold out immediately.
I just assumed it was too.
I knew it wasn't, because they've been advertising single day tickets. I'm sure you'll get a walk up. I'm sure it will draw, but it is a little surprising because the last several PLEs, granted one of them they were there at gunpoint, but the last several PLEs, the audiences were there in full, and in the live Raws and SmackDowns over the year, they've had like 40 something sellouts. So maybe SmackDown today is designed to get that last minute walk up, but I don't know. And guys, if you're in the UK, you're near. I don't know how geography works over there. Everything feels like it's. I'm using Euro trip logic. That Berlin is a suburb of Paris. Like, if you can make it to Clash at the Castle, go
Yeah,
in person. Especially if you haven't seen a WWE live event in a long time, they've been doing a great job for those live crowds, and it should be a hell of an event. And the card is really, really strong.
yeah. Let's talk about it. It is quite the lineup, and what you were saying too, the lineup is nice and compact, and I think that's very beneficial to the show. We mentioned Piper, the champion, women's champion, going up against Piper Niven. I don't think there's going to be a title change here. You just expect this. Move it on. Bailey's going to be the champ and move on to Nia Jax, Queen Nia Jax.
Got to move on to Nia Jax. This match is going to serve as, I'm going to put this in the most sensitive way possible. You
Okay.
want to establish that Bailey is going to be facing Nia Jax, where she's giving up a height and weight disadvantage. So you
Mhm.
want her to beat someone that she is giving up a height and weight disadvantage to be able to say, like, I can overcome those odds. And now, Nia, you have to give me another reason why I need to be afraid of you outside of just being reckless in the ring and hurting other people. I'd love to see a Nia Jax Bret Hart match. Just finish him off.
Oh my. Oh my.
But yeah, no, that's the purpose of this. Piper's going to get to perform in front of her home fans. She'll lose, but it'll be a good back and forth match, and then her and Chelsea can go back after the tag titles again.
Heck, and who knows? Like, this could be, like you said, it's a big opportunity for Piper, and it could kind of really establish her too as a talent moving forward. That she could get some momentum here in this bout.
Love to see it. She's been so start and stop when I think that she is a really interesting talent,
Yeah,
that let them go out there and wow people to the point where you become, what's the Cody thing? Undesirable to undeniable.
yes, yes. Hey, this
What?
one could be a little bit of a coin flip potentially. Is the Intercontinental Championship match: Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Sammy's had a pretty solid run. I think he's established himself as a good Intercontinental Champion. He's kind of got me hooked into it with his promos and stuff like that when I was against him winning the title at WrestleMania. But you have a great heel in Chad Gable. You could tell a lot of stories if he did end up winning this Intercontinental Championship. What do you think they're going to do here, Robert?
I think they're gonna have a wrestling match, Dom.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
sorry,
Okay.
in terms of finish.
Yeah, in terms
Shoot.
of
Yeah, this really is a coin toss, because we didn't know going into this whether or not Chad Gable was still going to be in the WWE.
yeah.
So the rumor and innuendo is that Gable has re-signed with the WWE. He's got a fresh new contract. So strapping the Intercontinental title around his waist makes a lot of sense for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I think that Sami Zayn needs to be freed up for Money in the Bank. I think Sami and Jey Uso are the two baby faces who have never held the world title, who going into Money in the Bank are compelling people to potentially win it. And we know, hypothetically, theoretically, maybe, that Gunther is going to win the world title at SummerSlam. So the only way to make it seem like a credible threat that someone's going to beat Gunther would be if they cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the compelling story there, and pushing Sami into that mix could be kind of fun. In order to do that, you need to take the Intercontinental title off of him. Gable has challenged for it a few times, hasn't won. He's never won a singles title. I think he should be rewarded for the work that he's been doing of late. And this idea of him winning because Otis in some capacity helped, and then on Monday bullies the hell out of Otis until we get, I think it was Mike Lawrence who made this comparison. He goes, you want that Ted DiBiase Virgil moment.
Yeah, I think it was. Might have been
That
Dan.
Otis has finally snapped.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get to Gable and Otis as a Money in the Bank PLE match, in addition to the briefcase match itself. Could be really fun going forward. And Gable's got people to work with as Intercontinental Champion. The idea of him and Ilya Dragunov going for the Intercontinental title,
yeah,
that's some good stuff right there.
That is good stuff. Yeah. Either way, so what's your prediction, Robert?
I say put it on Gable. I think this is the time. Sammy's got bigger and better things to do, and I think that Chad can do a lot with this Intercontinental title.
I'm with you. I'm going Gable too. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Plus, it gives him a title change for the show.
Right. Yeah. Something, a little bit of history made there for Scotland. WWE Women's Tag Team Championship triple threat: Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Obviously, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn have the hometown advantage when it comes to the crowd reaction. But Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, I think, have been a very hot act together when it comes to being tag team champions, and have established those titles that have been floating in purgatory basically for the past couple of years since their existence. So what do you think here? Do you think just Bianca and Jade retain?
I think they're too hot of an act right now for the WWE to have them lose. You can keep these tag titles on them for a while. It allows them to be on Raw and SmackDown. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, we saw them lose on Monday to Shayna and Zoe, and we saw Shayna lose in the NXT match over the weekend. So neither one of these teams have a ton of momentum. You still have Chelsea and Piper that you can pivot back to do another tag title match for Bianca and Jade. If you were going to take the titles off of them, you would do it in a triple threat tag, and I think that's a red herring to go back to Clue.
Yes,
communism. It's just a red herring. It's going to pepper in Clue references for the rest of the show.
Oh, I'm all for that. I'm wearing the Professor Plum right now. WWE Championship match, I Quit match. Cody Rhodes.
I love that in the name Isla Dawn, you pronounce the S. But in WWE, you drop a W every time.
It's my Pittsburghese, my Pennsyltuckian, I think, going down.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. Oh, man, yeah. Pittsburghese is real bad. A bunch of mumblers we are over here.
I guess I don't spend enough time chatting with the fine folks of Pittsburgh.
Why don't we change that, Robert?
I do this every day, Dom, at noon. I get a lot of one-on-one time with a guy from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and I feel like this is like Pygmalion at this point, where I'm just trying to teach you how to pronounce certain words. Also, you're a thespian.
I am.
You're doing a play, aren't you?
I am.
How did that not make the rundown?
I don't know. It's not wrestling related. It's Sherlock Holmes related. I'm the King of Bohemia, apparently. So, performances late July at Duquesne University. Guys, get your tickets now.
Wow! I didn't realize this was like at a college.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna teach something, and I'm gonna learn something. Hopefully, I'll learn to say I quit in this match. Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. Cody Rhodes got to win. It's good match. Just I'm excited for this, despite we've already seen it before. I think it's an intriguing way to set these guys up.
We've seen it, but the wrinkle is if you're doing an I Quit match, there's always the something else going on. And I think Mama Rhodes being there,
Oh,
if somebody got their hands on her and it forced Cody to, have to say I quit on her behalf. Always a tease possibility. Maybe that's what they're going to be teasing tonight on SmackDown. That if she's going to be there, that, I'm going to make you quit. And I'm going to make you scream I quit in front of your boy. Or in front of your mom, sorry. And then tomorrow they Martha Hart, not Martha Hart. I'm sorry, Helen Hart. Martha ain't coming. She ain't showing up.
no.
But Helen might. Oh God, Owen pleading for them to throw in the towel was always a great moment.
It was a great moment.
So
that was
it
some
could.
intriguing stuff back then.
I feel like they're going to try to recreate that a little bit there. I think AJ and Cody had such amazing chemistry at Backlash. They want to do the match. I think they could have done a straight up rematch, quite frankly. I don't think you needed the stipulation, but we're trying to add some intrigue before we move to SummerSlam and Cody gets another challenger, whoever that may be.
Right. Yeah. So you're going Cody despite
I think it's got to be Cody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, main event time. World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest, the champion, taking on hometown hero, yet one of the top heels in pro wrestling today in Drew McIntyre. You think Damian keeps it? Is there a chance Drew wins it? Robert, what do you think?
On Raw, they took the painstaking steps to ensure that the Judgment Day would not be ringside, which means nobody is going to be ringside, which means if somebody were to pop up ringside, it would be easier to spot.
Yes.
It's almost like someone's going to show up and potentially cost Drew McIntyre his opportunity. But who, Dom?
Who could that be? That's a tough one.
It's CM Punk. It'll be Punk. Punk will pop up. We're not going to use this. Punk will pop up. He'll cost Drew the match. You're going to get these guys to SummerSlam. That's a stadium match right there. We've been building it up for quite some time. They'll have the match. Punk will get hurt, and it'll be on the shelf for another 4 to 6 months.
I sure hope not.
So it works. It keeps the title on Priest. I don't know that they'll necessarily main event with this and send the audience home potentially disappointed, but we'll see. That's Hunter's issue to worry about. The only thing that he needs to worry about is giving them a big finish.
Yes,
and
I'll be the contrarian. I'll just say Drew does win the title. I think maybe they move on from Damian Priest and they try to make something happen and kind of cultivate a storyline with Judgment Day and all that's going on there. I think he can kind of further something to make something interesting. And Damian doesn't necessarily need the title anymore at the moment.
I'm gonna rewind and try this again.
Okay.
I think that Hunter's main goal here is to give that crowd a satisfying finish. And guys, if you're looking to give your lady a satisfying finish, can we recommend Blue Chew? This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Visit BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Guys, this weekend, if you want to clash her castle, you need to pop some Blue Chew because Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free. We use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Thank you, Blue Chew. And Robert, he does not write this stuff down, guys. This is all just right off the cuff. It's unbelievable.
That's what I'm here for.
Unbelievable. Hey,
What?
Undertaker thinks this is a little unbelievable. Doesn't believe in Tony Khan necessarily. Speaking on his 6 Feet Under podcast, he had a little quote here, Robert, and here it is. I don't think there's a real true leader in the locker room, and I'm not sure. I have nothing against the man, but I don't know that Tony Khan is the guy to run the company. I mean, his heart's in a good place and he wants to do something, but I just don't know that he has the acumen to run a wrestling company against the juggernaut that is the WWE. But hey, I could be wrong. There was that one other time I was wrong, but I hope they get that together and we do have some competition. It's better for the wrestlers. It's better for the audience, the fans. It's better for everything.
Yep.
I mean, Undertaker knows what he's talking about. I think Tony Khan needs to have a little help. I think he can make the final decision in a lot of ways and have the final say if he really wants to. But I think he needs a leader. This has been an ongoing issue. And hey, watch WCW. Who killed WCW, right, Robert?
The distinct lack of a singular locker room leader when there are a number of people who could take that role is somewhat baffling.
Mm-hmm.
You look at a Bryan Danielson, you look at an Adam Copeland. To some degree, you could look at a John Moxley, but I wouldn't put him as a locker room leader. But I think Bryan and Copeland know what this really requires. Kenny Omega has been wildly successful. He has not been entrenched in a single locker room for an extended period of time to be able to see how that's supposed to operate. The locker room leader of AEW was Cody Rhodes.
100%.
And when Cody departed, as an EVP, as a guy who had to put out all the fires and hear all the borching and complaining, he learned how to navigate and operate with those people. AEW right now operates in silos, and that means that there's not a coherent singular product. And that's kind of what Undertaker's talking about. He knows, good, bad, or indifferent, that a Vince McMahon type figure is what you need. The guy who the buck stops here. He's the answer man. Hunter right now is the answer man. He was not able to take on that role before while Vince was still around. So you kind of were like, well, we were listening to Hunter, but we also know Vince can swoop in. Vince McMahon is not allowed on the premises. He's not allowed to have any say in the product whatsoever. So it is the Triple H show. And anything that makes it on air on Raw or SmackDown or NXT was either because of or blessed by Triple H. It's very tough to say the same thing about Tony Khan. You feel like a lot of what we see on there is something the Bucks want, or something Jericho wants, or something the Blackpool Combat Club wants, and Tony just sort of rubber stamps it without that additional quality control. That at the end of the day, they like him, they respect him, or they fear him, and you would see a different behaved locker room than what you get currently. And what you guys get currently is the opportunity to hear Mr. Dominic D'Angelo on a plethora of podcasts.
A whole hodgepodge, a potpourri of podcasts. Yes.
I'm cutting you off on your show. The first one we got to plug, the most important one we got to plug is Working Stiff.
That's right.
Because, guys, if you went to go listen to Working Stiff last evening or first thing this morning, you may have noticed that this week's episode had last week's audio. Some sort of, it was a terrible rib that somebody pulled somewhere, and it was Hornswoggle. He swapped them out. We fixed it. The audio for this week's episode is up, and it's a hell of a show. It's myself, Dan St. Germain, Mike Lawrence, and Scott Chaplin talking Who Killed WCW, talking Clash of the Castle, talking Dynamite, talking about Dan being in Vegas, and for some weird reason, the history of the Bravo channel.
Yes.
At some point in time came up on there.
I don't know. Wow.
You can get that wherever you listen to podcasts. And the other shows Don produces that have never had audio upload issues, conveniently enough. Not to be all Bret Hart conspiratorial, but like a Goldberg kick to the head. You can hear Dom's other shows. Dom?
Yes, trust me, they've had issues before. One of a kind with RVD. You can go to rvdtv.com. We have the latest episode up there where we talk about his Booker T misunderstanding a catchphrase that Rob had as a kid and turning it into something completely different. Really, really fun conversations when it comes to stuff like that. We talk about Umaga, Rob's friendship with Umaga, so it's really fun. And then we are recording a live episode on Sunday is that what we have on tap. So be on the lookout. You can go to rvdtv.com or onetruesporttv.com. You'll see the notifications up there once we make the final decision to win. Hey, check out Straight Talk with the Boss, Greg Gagne, Magnum TA. We cover Ricochet in depth. Really, really good insight from Magnum. He's got a very opinionated thought about Ricochet when it comes to another competitor in pro wrestling. So look out for that. That's available right now early for One True Sport members, but it'll be available everywhere on Tuesday too. So be sure to check that out. Robert, this has been a fun one, man. I'm excited for Clash at the Castle.
Excited for Clash at the Castle. It's a big weekend ahead. Happy Father's Day
Yes.
to all the fathers out there. Big weekend for Shane McMahon.
Big time.
Gets the reach out to Dad and get to leave a very heartfelt voice message because Vince ain't picking that phone up. But on behalf of the Professor Plum himself, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Mr. Green.